I think it's important to understand the mechanisms that work for you, the mechanisms that can keep you protected and at peace and at a emotional in emotional stability as well. And I think it's important to understand what works for you. That way you're not allowing anyone to just control your emotions, because if someone can instantly get you angry and instantly get you out of character, that person can instantly manipulate you to do or be whatever they want you to be. And I think it's important to understand that in order to protect your space and protect your peace of mind. And also understanding how to bring yourself back down into a space of peace when you do have those moments where you do get angry, or you do get mad, or you do get sad, because we are human. So sometimes those things do come up no matter what you do to prepare yourself for that day. And so I think it's important to understand different techniques in order to really genuinely bring yourself back into your own energy. And one of those things, and one of those ways, I'm gonna give you multiple ways. One of those ways is to do breath work, and you can look up on YouTube breath work techniques in order to release energy, or release anger, or release agitation, or whatever the case may be. Or you can it's also a thing of humming and releasing it through your body in that way, starting from the top of your head, and paying attention to that energetically, and starting from the top of your head, and allowing yourself to be the observer of your body, and allowing whatever energy to flow through the bottom of your feet. And I think it's important to learn different techniques like that, or take a little prayer break, and ask for protection and ask for guidance in whatever situation that you have to deal with, in order to deal with those different people or those different situations, in order to make sure that you are staying protected and at peace. And I think it's also important, if you do go off, to not judge yourself for going off, but also understand that you are human, and understand that sometimes people get out of pocket, and sometimes, you know, they may catch you off guard, and allowing yourself grace in those different times, and being compassionate with yourself, and allowing yourself to understand that you might have slipped up then, but you can do better next time, and you can figure out different ways to calm yourself down and release that energy, or learning how to speak up for yourself without allowing so much energy to be taken away from you, learning how to speak up for yourself and use your voice without yelling, or without allowing those other people to take so much energy and so much time and so much space in your mind or in your energy. And I think it's important to understand that when it comes to making sure that you are keeping your peace of mind and your energy to yourself, and allowing yourself to protect yourself in those times, and also allowing yourself to nurture your own emotions. That way you understand if it's worth it or not. That way you understand if something is worth your energy or your time enough to speak up. And I think for me personally, I think how I know to speak up is when I've already done my breath work, when I've already done writing whatever happened down, or when I understand that it's something that's replaying, or really affecting me emotionally. That is when I understand, okay, now I need to figure out how to say this in a way where this person can digest it well, or I need to figure out a way to say this to where I feel like I got across clearly, even if they don't take it in the right way. Because I think it's important to understand that sometimes you can figure out the best way to say something, and still the other person on the other side will take it to offense. And I think it's important to understand that if something is affecting you, you need to speak up, whether that other person takes it to offense or not. Because at that point you'll realize where you should place that person in your life. And I think it's important to understand and have true understanding and direction on where to place different people in your life. That way you are protecting your peace and protecting your space and protecting your energy, and not allowing other people to manipulate how they should show up in your life, or manipulate you into rage bait, or manipulate you into shame, or guilt for standing up for yourself or understanding what is right for you. And I think that's important to understand when it comes to making sure that you are having healthy dynamics with people, or making sure that you are speaking your truth and in situations. Also understanding to have discernment on what to speak up about, and what to really just let go. Because if it's something petty that you can just brush off, I think it's important to understand that everything is not worth your time and your energy. Sometimes you have to allow people to deal with their own emotions. And I think it's important to understand, if people are genuinely trying to, if people are rage baiting you, or trying to get you to get out of your character, or whatever the case may be, I think it's important to understand what they are doing, and understand when you do speak up, are you willing to allow that much time and that much energy out of your life? Are you willing to waste your time and your energy? And I think it's important to understand, if you're willing to take out your time and your energy, your precious time and your precious energy, on what you could be using to better yourself, whether that be mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, or whatever the case may be, then okay, then that's how you know it's time for you to go ahead and speak up in that situation. And I think it's important to understand, if you can't find a better way to say something, say it how you need to say it. If you can't find, a way to say it to where it's not going to be as harsh, then you have to say it harshly. I think it's important to understand, to not be so afraid of conflict that you are having internal conflict and internal battles within yourself, and having this illusion, this false illusion of peace outside of yourself. Because I think it's important to understand, when you are dealing with a lot internally, and you have this illusion of peace outside of yourself, that creates an elephant in the room that is not spoken but is felt. And I think it's important to understand that it's important to have it's more important to keep the peace within you than it is to keep the peace outside of you. For me personally, I would rather chaos be going on outside of me than chaos going on inside of me. So I think it's important to understand how to get out what you need to get out, whether that be in a creative space, whether that be to that person or to that situation, whether that be in whatever form you need to get it out. I think it's important to get it out in a healthy manner, to where it's healthy for you, and creates healthy, authentic connections within your space. And I think that's important to understand when it comes to speaking up, and living in your truth, or shining your light, or taking up space, or whatever the case may be. It's important to learn how to use your voice. It's important to learn how to stand up for yourself without always being aggressive, or because a lot of times, like I said, when you are aggressive, when you are yelling at somebody, they can't hear anything you say. And if it's a person that is trying to get under your skin, that is trying to take your energy from you, that is trying to bring you down to their, so-called level, or whatever the case may be, then at the end of the day, you put yourself in a position that is just going to cause more chaos within you internally. And I think it's important to understand the point of speaking up for yourself, the point of sharing your emotions, is so that you can clear it from yourself internally. is so that you can clear it from your conscious or your subconscious mind, and get it out in the open, so you don't have a emotional elephant in the room, or so you don't have this battle within you, or this underlining tension between you and another person or a situation.